Online for Authors. I'm chatting with Carrie Birde, author of A Small Tale of Uncommon Grace. Welcome, Carrie.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Terry.
I am so excited to have you. Loved the book. Before we dive in, I would like you to give us like a quick little elevator pitch. What are people going to find when they open up the cover of A Small Tale of Uncommon Grace?
I feel it's a literary fairy tale. Its main themes are community, communication, and connection. And I hope that people will find their sense of nature and connection to nature restored. I want to give people sort of a tonic for the dystopian world we seem to be living in.
Yeah.
A little passport. It's like it's okay to take a break and have something hopefully beautiful come into your life.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. Where did the idea come from?
Well, I think like all things, it came from a lot of different places. The first is that, as a kid and frankly as an adult, like who among us doesn't want to be able to talk to the world that supports us?
Right.
Nature. I mean, when I was 10 years old, I spent the summer as a rabbit. I lived
Yep.
under a spirea in the backyard, and you know, every day I would go in for dinner, and then I would be a normal kid again. In the morning, I
Right.
was outside.
Being a rabbit
So,
again. Right.
yeah, it was a good experience. Um, but I've always had this. I've always had a very strong connection with nature, and I think we've lost a lot of magic in our world. And I'd like many of us, I think we yearn for that. It was also an exercise for me as an adult. I have a very dear friend who talks about this idea of grace, and she talks about it from I guess a sort of a religious standpoint, but she's mostly Buddhist these days. So I struggle with this idea of grace. I've thought that she meant acceptance, like accepting where we are, how we are, what we're doing, what we have. She's corrected me that that's not quite right. But this whole book is sort of a result of Grace, like accepting where she is
Mhm.
instead of fighting with what happens to her, with this change, that this transformation she
Transformation, right?
underwent. She just, all right, so this is the lay of the land now. I'm not going to waste my energy fighting with it. I'm just going to follow it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I kind of like that idea. It's not who I am.
Me
Like,
neither.
like I'm a fighter. I'm always, kicking and screaming and, I don't like change and let's just, I want it my way. And so the idea of being able to just like almost breathe it in and then say, here, okay, now what? It's just never been a strength of mine.
No,
Yeah,
me
no.
neither.
In fact, so it's crazy. Like I even have a therapist, and we talk about this all the time, and she's constantly saying, this isn't something you can change. And my answer is I know, but I want to.
Yeah.
Like I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm not real good at accepting what is. So yeah, that was a fun piece of that book for me to kind of see how she just naturally. And I think that's the part I found the most fantastical. There were a lot of fantastical kinds of things that happen, right? So this is not a story in which this is the kind of thing you're going to see happen to your neighbor.
Mm.
Yet, of the most fantastical things to me, how easily she accepted all of the changes that were happening was the most fantastical piece in my mind, was that she just did it with such calm,
She
you
had
know?
support.
Yes.
She had her community didn't thrash her and drive her out of town. They're like, okay, well, sometimes things happen, and
Which
it's
is also crazy because in our world today, different is not accepted well. And
right.
generally speaking, most people just kind of went along with it. And I thought, wow, wouldn't that be wonderful to live in a community like that?
Yeah,
Right?
that's exactly what I want.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
And
So
I'm
yeah,
trying to change it with this book.
right. Well, and the thing is so I think we can kind of change things, like at least one neighborhood at a time. Like where you live, wherever it is that you are, you can do things to accept people, to accept things as they are, to accept changes, to be kind, to be good, to be loving, to try to understand people as they are, etc. And so, yeah, I mean, that can be done. So I think that's beautiful. Amazon lists this as a nature and ecology book, and then also as an occult book. Yeah, I know. I saw it more like a grown-up fairy tale with maybe even a hint of like historical romance. It's not historical, but it has kind of a historical flavor because it's back in a time without, cars and things. And so it did have this feeling of more historical. You said you see it more as a literary fairy tale?
Yeah.
So when I said an adult fairy tale, I was kind of close into what I felt.
Yeah.
When you were writing it, did you say to yourself, this is the genre that I'm writing? Or did you write it and then say, oh, now I have to give it a genre?
Yeah, the latter.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not a fan of pigeonholing books and genres. Yes. I feel that there's so much good stuff out there that we will never come across because we don't think we read, this type or that type of book.
Exactly.
And the great writers of, like Lewis Carroll and Beatrix Potter and Ray Bradbury, they didn't write, for a particular age group. They wrote to write.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I do. I write to write. And then when I'm done writing, I realize, okay, now I have to market. So I guess I need to figure out where this is going to fit. Yeah. What I've noticed, which I think is a really cool trend, Carrie, is that more and more independent authors are writing books that are very cross genre. So it's, oh yes, I wrote a historical romance, but it has a little bit of fantasy and it has a little bit of thriller. And you're like, what? Like those don't go together, but they do. And when you read the book, it's like, oh, wow, isn't that fabulous?
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Yeah. And I think I like the idea that, especially as an indie author, where you don't have some big publishing company demanding of you and telling you what they will and will not accept and how they will and will not work, etc. That as just an author, that we get to be a lot freer to just say, this is what I have in my mind, and we're going to let it come out, and we're going to see what people think.
Yes.
Instead of determining beforehand, oh, well, no one will like a thriller that's also in the historical genre. Well, why wouldn't they?
Right.
Maybe they will. And maybe they won't. Okay. Well, then you learn something, but maybe they will. And I do like that idea. So I think you're like a lot of authors then that end up having to kind of pigeonhole their book into something. It's like, where are we going to place this now? I don't even know. Right.
Right. For quite a while, it was, and maybe it still is in some places under the YA.
Yes. Yeah. I think there's some places that it's under YA, and it's because of, I guess, the age she was when the book started.
I guess.
Maybe. And then I think the other thing is a lot of people don't feel like the fairy tale genre is something adults will read.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because a lot of adults like the fairy tale genre. So absolutely. Who was the favorite character to write?
Oh, I had fun with so many of them.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed writing the rooster.
Yeah.
Because he's such an absurd character, and I have a very strong vision of who he is. If you're familiar with the movie Arsenic and Old Lace, like he's, the brother Teddy. Yes. I think his name is Jonathan Alexander.
Okay.
He thinks that he's Teddy Roosevelt.
Yes.
And he's charging up and down the stairs and digging locks in the Panama Canal in the basement. So, like, sort of bringing that energy into this rooster who's, strutting about all important, telling the hens what to do.
And nobody's really listening to him, but it's fine because he has no idea that no one's really listening to him, right? I love that. That ties so quickly into my next question, which is, how difficult was it to write from the point of view of nature? Like, you wrote from a point of view of a rooster, and you wrote from a point of view of a lake, and you wrote from the point of view of wind. I mean, these are things that typically people don't think to give a voice to.
Hmm.
So how
I think
tough was that?
um, I don't think it was any harder for me than writing any other part of the book.
Okay.
And I think because I really, I have such a deep rooted fear that people are forgetting that we're part of this natural world and it supports us. They're not simply resources. So I really was compelled to give voices to these different elements that support us so that people might think of them differently. Um,
Might
so it
think of
was,
them having
yeah,
thoughts or feelings
yeah,
or a voice or want to scream and say you're killing us.
yeah. I
You
mean, I
know.
know personification and anthropomorphication those are kind of like, they're almost dirty words these days, but I feel that as humans, if we don't see ourselves in someone or something else, then we don't treat it as we would treat ourselves. And I think this is important to highlight and to bring to attention.
Yeah. No, I love that. And you are right. I have found that when you can help someone see themselves, they can have empathy,
Yeah,
right? And it's really hard to have empathy if you can't see yourself in someone or something.
yeah,
And, so you can do it for different peoples of different nations that you want to like highlight and say they're a lot like us, and so why do we have this? But you can also do it with nature, and I love
yeah.
that you did it that way. It was really, really quite beautiful. I'm
I,
a little curious about your writing process. Are you a pantser? Are you a plotter? Are you somewhere in between?
I'm totally a pantser.
Yeah, so am I.
Things just arrive.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like,
So tell us a little bit, what does your writing process look like then? As a pantser, like, do you write every day? Was this a sit down, get this book done? Was this a long-term process? Like, how did this all play out for you?
well, it's changed. My writing patterns have changed over the last 10, 12 years.
Hmm.
Um, I used to be very regimented about it, and
Yeah.
that worked initially because I really didn't feel that I belonged at the writer's table. So I had some good friends who were gently insistent, and I I kind of used them as a gym buddy to show up.
Right, right.
Um, Nowadays, I've found, and that was usually in the mornings. Nowadays, I've found that I'm more relaxed in my approach. I tend to write more in the afternoon, like after lunch.
Hmm.
Once I've gotten all my other work out of the way in the morning, and I've yeah, I don't necessarily write every day. I have a lot of interests,
Yeah.
and I find that they cross pollinate. If I stick too much to one creative form of creative expression, it's kind of goes stale.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
have to like bounce between different things, and they all sort of feed each other. And when I'm working with collage, my hands are busy doing that, then something's percolating in my mind about
Yeah.
my book. Well, I'm not paying attention.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
likewise, it works in the reverse with all the different things.
No, I agree. I definitely feel that I'm not an everyday writer. If I don't have something to say, I don't want to sit in front of the computer for 3 hours and pretend. I have lots of things to do. I have lots of things that I enjoy doing. I'm a people person as well. I like getting out and being with people. I don't want to just sit here and I've had
Yes.
people say, well, when you don't feel like writing, write anyway. And it's like, yeah, but
Mm,
I do that, and then I just throw it all away because it stinks. It's not any good because I'm not in a writing frame of mind.
yep.
I'm also, unfortunately, what I call a binge writer.
Mm,
So all of a sudden, I will have an idea and I will write and write and write and write and write, and I might write for 10 hours and not look up. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, where am I? Which I don't know. I wouldn't recommend my process to anyone, but it works for me.
right. That's the thing. You have to find what works, and we have to be flexible in our approach and realize
Yeah.
that as we're growing and aging, so is our
Yeah,
process.
things
We have to
right.
adapt.
And things do change because even just, what else is going on in my life changes, which then changes how I have to be a writer or how I even have to show up as me,
Yes.
because other things have changed in this world. So yeah, absolutely. When people walk away from this book, of course you want them to enjoy the story, and they will because it's a good story.
Thank you.
What more are you wanting them to walk away with? You want them to walk away and say, like, what? Like if someone walked away and said this sentence, you would say, that's it, I did my job.
I want people to get out of their heads. We spend so much time up in our heads. I want people to approach the world with more heart, more feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. And so when they walk away from your book, how is that going to happen? How are they going to get out of their heads and into their hearts with this book? What is it going to say to them?
They've got to get back into nature. They've got to get their feet in the grass. They've got to get their hands on a tree, touch it. They've got to look at the birds, try to make these little connections, and plant a garden, like flowers, like be a kid again. Remember all the curiosity that we had as children. We're born with it. And many of us have like a sense of whimsy in us that's slowly crushed and eroded by culture.
Right. Because adults aren't supposed to be whimsical. And if we are whimsical, we're allowed maybe to be whimsical on, 2 days a year, maybe Christmas Day, maybe Halloween if we go to a party and dress up, but rarely are we allowed to just be whimsical.
Right.
Which
is a shame.
It is.
The world needs whimsy.
Well, and I think this idea of getting back to nature, I mean, we know there's all kinds of studies out there that talk about like grounding, for instance, putting your feet, not your shoes, but your feet onto soil.
Yeah.
And how that actually helps your body to heal, to be a healthier body. Well, that's a really crazy connection.
Yeah.
Right?
It is.
Like it doesn't make a lot of sense, but yet we know that it works.
Right. Often things work and we can't explain them, kind of like this book.
Right.
There's never any explanation why she can communicate.
No.
Often the explanation comes later. Sometimes decades later.
Right.
But the experience is real. Like they know, like forest bathing, right? You go out and you walk through the forest, and I can't remember what they're like, K-cells or something like that. Or trees are just sort of drifting them down on us, and how good it is for us.
Oh, yeah.
The science has caught up with the ancient Japanese practice of forest bathing, and they're saying, "Oh yeah, this is a thing, and this is
why." Right? Or even the idea of like people with depression, if they will go outside and have sun on their head at a certain time of the day, like it actually helps because it's helping to produce the right hormones in the right manner, and part of that is that for thousands of years we would wake up with the sun and go to bed when the sun went down, and we were out of doors and our bodies needed. And then we started doing what we do now, which is we get up with the alarm and we get in our car and then we head to work and we sit in an office 9 to 5, and we don't get all of the things that our bodies used to get. Right. Yeah. And then they start to learn, oh yeah, you need that vitamin D and you need this, whatever. And this pushes that, which turns into this. And before long. Yeah. And so this idea of getting out in nature.
It's no wonder we're all so cranky.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, we don't get sunshine. We don't get the vitamin K falling out of the leaves. We don't get any of that stuff, right?
Right.
I've noticed for me, and I'm wondering if it's true for you, that when I go out in nature, that's when I get my best ideas.
Yes.
Does that happen with you too?
Oh, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
They just sort of drift in. It's like you'll see like just a glimmer of light that shows a color in a different way, or that one tree that seems to be waving that one leaf.
Yeah. and that's what you see. I'm a beach walker. I live close to the beach, and there is something to me, especially at sunrise is my favorite time. And there's never been a sunrise that looks identical to the sunrise before. Like every single one is different. And I find that alone to be the most fascinating thing in the world, that the sun coming up over the ocean should theoretically look pretty similar every morning. I mean, it's a sun, it's the ocean. I'm
Mm,
there on the same beach. It should be pretty similar, and it's not, because some mornings the ocean is very green, and some it's blue, and some it's black, and some it's still, and some it's wild. And the colors coming up are all different. Sometimes it's a spot of orange, and that's the only real color. And sometimes there's like reds and oranges and yellows all across the sky, and every day is different.
mm.
And
I don't want to
it's,
go to the ocean.
yeah. So to me, and I'm sure it feels that way wherever you walk, that if you are really looking, you'll see every day that there are these changes. There are these things that make this walk today different from essentially the very same walk yesterday, but it's not the same at all.
Exactly. That is so very true.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. So what are you working on now, Carrie?
I've written another book in 3/4, and I am editing this second book.
Okay.
And editing is good and bad. It's fun. It's not fun.
It's a different process.
Yeah, it feels less creative.
Yes.
But I realized recently, it's like, oh, here I am in this book, and it needs these other things to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm inserting a chapter, so I'm getting a chance to be creative again and write.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've said that editing, I don't know, it requires a different, like, I'm a very, very right-brained writer. My left brain, I have to kind of kick out of the room because my left brain doesn't do writing well. But I need my left brain during the editing process. And so it is a very different feel when I'm editing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about this book? Are you willing to share?
I am. It's set in the same world.
Okay.
And has a similar idea where something just this person is able to do this thing. With this character, he's born with it.
Okay.
So he's had a long and a little more knotty relationship with his ability, which is he has it's his relationship with emotion.
Okay.
And how emotion for him it's concrete, it's tangible. They manifest in a physical fashion. And his relationship to this, and unlike Grace, he is very uncomfortable with it. It's
okay.
A pain in the butt for him.
Okay.
But he has to sort of entirely lose himself to appreciate the nuance that this gift had provided for him, because he's always been seeing the world around him through the lens of that person's feeling that, and that person's feeling this, and this. Is that mine? Am I feeling that? Where does this emotion begin and end? What is mine and what is theirs?
Okay.
So ownership. But it's I'm really enjoying it. There are in my books, there are always in the 3 that I've written, almost done with the 3rd one, but there are always 3 elements. There's the gift, there's an important tree, and there's a bird.
Okay.
So Grace had a wood thrush.
Right.
And this character, the one I'm editing, Cole, has a crow.
Okay.
And in the other book, Wren has a wren.
Wren. Well, that would make sense, right? Wren would have a wren. Yeah. That's interesting. I love that. So in this second book, does it have a title yet?
Yeah, it's a small tale of hard feelings.
A small tale of hard feelings. All right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And so I'm assuming your third book then is also a small tale of something, right?
Yeah, small tale of words unspoken.
Ooh, I like that. Ooh, that title just alone makes me want to read it just immediately. It's like, ooh, I want to know about that one. Do you plan on having more than 3, or then are you going to move to something different?
I have so many ideas for this world. I really love playing here. This is where I want to live.
Okay.
So.
Well, then you get to live there at least occasionally as you're writing, right?
I just had this feeling like of this a couple of weeks ago. It's like, I've never been afraid of getting old. I'm afraid of pain, yes. Death the idea doesn't bother me so much, but I just had this thought a couple of weeks ago. It's like, oh, I don't think I'm going to live long enough to write all the ideas I have because I'm such a slow writer.
Well, you should put your ideas down somewhere and maybe someone else will pick it up. You never know how that might go. You never know how that might go. So, Carrie, if someone wanted to get up with you, talk with you a little bit about your ideas, about this, your world, how do they do that? What's the best way to reach you?
Well, I have a website, carriebirde.com, and I do it sends me emails. You can contact me through that. I'm on Instagram, and my Instagram is linked to Facebook. I don't really play on Facebook that much. I like the Instagram format, not as much as I used to, when I first started. But I think those are the best ways.
Fantastic.
Like email me through carriebirde.com or follow me on Instagram, Carrie Birde.
Sounds great. Sounds great. So, guys, I'll have that in the show notes so that you can reach out to Carrie. Run out and grab yourself a copy of A Small Tale of Uncommon Grace. You're going to love it. Yes, it's fabulous. It's just a delightful book. I really enjoyed it. And then I found myself, once I put it down, thinking about it and really kind of like contemplating, like, what would that have been like? And it's a book that can do that. It's really a good one. So grab a copy. Once you've read it, run out and make sure you review it, because we need those reviews. And Carrie, I want to thank you so much for being with me today. This has been a wonderful chat.
I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you for listening to Online for Authors, where I, Terry M. Brown, author of character-driven fiction and host of the podcast, introduce readers to characters they'd love to invite to lunch. Tune in next Tuesday for another podcast episode.